Have you ever gotten a call from a number you didn't recognise and felt a little chill run down your spine? Well, what if that number was your own? Let me tell you a story about a guy named Mark. It's a story that still keeps me up at night. It all started on an ordinary Tuesday, just after midnight. Mark was half asleep when his phone buzzed on the nightstand. He squinted at the screen, and his heart skipped a beat. The caller ID wasn't a friend or family member. It was his own name, his own number staring back at him. He figured it had to be some kind of glitch, a weird prank maybe. He hesitated for a second, then his thumb swiped to answer. "Hello?" he said, his voice a little groggy. Silence. Then a faint raspy whisper, like dry leaves skittering across pavement, came through the speaker. "Don't leave your house tomorrow." Click. The line went dead. Mark just sat there, the phone still pressed to his ear. A prank, he told himself. A really strange late-night prank. He tried to brush it off, put the phone down, and go back to sleep. But the voice, it echoed in his head. There was something unsettlingly familiar about it, something that felt ancient and tired. The next morning, the sun was shining, and the world seemed perfectly normal. Mark made his coffee, checked his emails, and the creepy call from last night started to feel more like a dream. But as he got ready for work, that whisper kept creeping back into his thoughts. "Don't leave your house tomorrow." It was ridiculous, right? Who listens to a prank call? He had a big presentation at 4 p.m, one he'd been preparing for months. He couldn't just stay home. Still, a small seed of doubt had been planted. He found himself double-checking the locks on his way out, glancing over his shoulder more than usual. The morning passed without incident. He went to the gym, had lunch with a colleague, and slowly the tension began to fade. It was just a stupid joke. He even laughed about it with his friend Sarah over text. She told him it was probably just a telemarketer spoofing his number to get him to pick up. That made sense. He felt silly for even worrying. The afternoon rolled around, and Mark started heading towards the downtown office for his presentation. He decided to walk the last few blocks. The weather was nice, and it would help clear his head. He was strolling down Elm Street, running through his opening lines in his mind, when he heard it. The screech of tyres on asphalt, a sound so loud it seemed to tear the air apart. He looked up just in time to see a silver sedan, the same model as his own, careening off the road, spinning wildly out of control. It happened in slow motion. The car jumped the curb, its bumper smashing into a newspaper stand, sending papers flying like confetti. It was heading right for him. Mark froze, his feet glued to the pavement. It was like his body knew it was over. But then, at the very last second, the car swerved and slammed into a lamppost just inches from where he was standing. The impact was horrific. The front of the car crumpled like a tin can. Silence descended for a moment, then people started screaming and running towards the wreck. Mark was still standing there, heart hammering against his ribs, his whole body trembling. He was alive. He was alive by inches. Paramedics and police arrived within minutes. They pulled the driver from the mangled car. A crowd had gathered, and Mark, still in shock, found himself drawn closer. He needed to see. As they laid the driver on a stretcher, a white sheet was pulled over their face. But for a brief moment, Mark saw him. He saw the driver's face, and his blood ran cold. The man in the driver's seat. He was wearing the same blue shirt Mark had on. He had the same brown hair, the same watch on his wrist. It was him. It was Mark. He was looking at his own dead body. The police were baffled. They couldn't explain it. The victim had Mark's wallet, his ID, everything. But Mark was standing right there, alive and breathing, without a scratch on him. The most bizarre part. The victim's cell phone was found in the wreckage, shattered beyond repair. It was the same make and model as Mark's. Mark went home that day a changed man. The world didn't make sense anymore. He tried to explain it to the police, to his friends, but they all looked at him with a mixture of pity and concern. They thought the shock had made him delusional, but Mark knew what he saw. He knew that voice on the phone had tried to save him. Or had it? Life somehow went on. But the fear never left him. He became a recluse, afraid to leave his house, afraid of cars, afraid of his own shadow. He sold his car and started working from home. He saw a therapist who told him it was a severe case of PTSD, but no amount of therapy could explain the phone call. And then, exactly 1 year later, to the day, to the minute, it happened again. Just after midnight, his phone rang. He had a new phone, a new number, but he knew before he even looked. The screen lit up. Caller ID. Mark. His hand trembled as he reached for it. He shouldn't answer. Every fibre of his being screamed at him not to, but he had to know. He had to understand. He answered the call. For a long moment, there was only static. Then, the same cracked, familiar whisper came through the speaker. But this time the words were different. This time they were filled with a chilling sense of disappointment. "You didn't listen." A flatline beep echoed through the phone, followed by a burst of static, and then nothing. The line was dead. Mark never told anyone about the second call. He knew they wouldn't believe him, but now he understands. He wasn't saved that day. He was just delayed. He's living on borrowed time. Every year, on the anniversary of the crash, his phone rings. And every year, that same voice delivers a cryptic, terrifying message. A clue? A warning? He doesn't know. All he knows is that he's trapped in a loop he can't escape, haunted by a ghost who wears his own face. So, here's a thought to leave you with. If your phone rings tonight, and you see your own name on the screen, what would you do? Would you let curiosity get the better of you? Or would you remember Mark's story, and just let it ring? Be careful. You never know who's on the other end of the line. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want more content that will make you question reality, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got plenty more mysteries to explore. Stay safe out there, and see you in the next video.